We're here in Monte Carlo for the Rendez-Vous de Septembre. For AM/Best TV, I'm Richard Banks. And I'm joined now by Isabelle Santenac, Global Insurance Leader for EY. Isabelle, it's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, Richard. Thank you for inviting me.
So we're here in Monte Carlo, lots of discussions about where we are in the insurance cycle. Generally seems to be a hard market still, and at this sort of stage of the cycle you'd expect to see new reinsurance companies coming along. We haven't seen that, so what is the reasons for that, and perhaps what are the consequences?
Well, I think one reason, and I discussed with some reinsurers on that, is the fact that it's a regulated business. So when you are a regulated business, you attract, maybe it's more difficult to enter into the market. I think that's one big reason. I think you could say also maybe the capital is not enough attractive in this business, so the return on capital. So still some work to do to make the business attractive. And the consequences of that is how can you attract maybe new talents or innovation also in the industry. So that is something I think which could create some challenges for the coming years.
So we're going to have to rely on existing players to innovate.
Exactly, to innovate and to attract talents. And I think that's a big challenge for the industry, in particular when you see the population. I think we made a survey, 27% of the people working in the industry are less than 35 years old, 27%. So that means a lot will retire in the coming years. So how do you attract new talent? And I think with the profitability restored, as we see right now, it's a good time to invest in talent.
So we've heard a lot about reinsurers adjusting their risk tolerances, perhaps moving up away from high frequency layers. But those are kind of the things that insurers are after. So are insurers getting the solutions that they want from the reinsurance market?
Well, you could say, Richard, that with that and with being more discipline, that a word we heard a lot in Monte Carlo, discipline in underwriting. What impact does that have on the protection gap? And I think that's, for me, a worry. So how to continue to be disciplined, but to find solutions to protect, to be more innovative in the product you propose to the market to ensure that the coverage is where it should be.
So the protection gap is a really important issue, and it has in the past been a big topic of conversation here in Monte Carlo. Tell us a little bit about your perceptions about how that gap is widening, shrinking, staying the same.
Unfortunately, it's widening. And I think, it's an illusion to believe that the industry can tackle it by themselves. So, of course, you still hear, we need PPP, private partnerships. But I think, for me, the big impact would be to reduce the cost of the risk. So if you reduce the cost, by definition, you reduce the protection gap. And so how do you prevent better? How do you educate people to better understand the risk and protect themselves better? I think that's also a route to be taken.
And that's a route that the insurance industry can take the lead on.
Of course, because they are very well positioned for that. And I think they don't use enough, all their risk expertise and all the data to educate more the society. So sometimes people don't want to hear that if they buy a house in Florida, every year they will have to repair something. But the more you educate people, the more they will understand that.
So a lot of talk here about property cat, obviously. There's also been quite a lot of talk this year about casualty. Do you have any signs of optimism in the casualty market?
Well, I think there are signs of optimism because of the pricing, which continues to be hard. But in the meantime, you have also some headwinds like inflation, which continues to be quite high, social inflation as well in the US in particular. So I think everything will be depending on the pricing that the reinsurance industry and the insurance industry will manage to get in the coming years.
Isabelle, thank you so much indeed for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
For AM/Best TV, I'm Richard Banks.